Understanding the problem. It is recommended that young people should engage in 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous activity a day for health benefits. Despite good evidence available of the positive effects of physical activity, not all young people are physically active. Research suggests nearly 90% of Australian adolescents are not meeting current recommendations, and too many girls are dropping out of sport and physical activity during their teenage years, developing negative attitudes which act as barriers throughout life. 1 in every 2 Australian teenage girls are turning their back on exercise by the age of 17, despite 2/3 acknowledging that sport can make them feel more confident. Although girls recognise the importance of an active lifestyle, there appears to be a disconnect between behaviour and attitude. The social ecological model highlights the individual, social, and environmental factors that act as barriers and influence female adolescent physical activity. Personal attitudes, including enjoyment, lack of confidence, feelings of discomfort, fear of judgment, and previous experience surrounding competitiveness affect behaviour engagement. Furthermore, social norms, stereotypes of females in sport, and competing interests were identified as social factors that restrict physical activity, as well as issues surrounding location, accessibility, safety, and financial costs.
The trans-theoretical model, social cognitive theory, and theory of planned behaviour are relevant theories that explain adolescents' attitudes, behaviour, and actions towards physical activity. Behavioural change occurs through a series of stages, opposed to a sudden change in one's behaviour. An individual's ability to reach the action and maintenance stages is largely dependent on their individual perceptions. In the case of increasing physical activity levels in adolescents, attitudes towards physical activity, personal motivations to increase physical fitness levels, and the ability to feel included are some of the individual factors which will determine how quickly adolescents will progress through the stages of behaviour change. Social cognitive theory focuses on the relationship between a person's personal, behavioural, and environmental characteristics. Environmental factors include the weather and access to exercising in a safe environment. Personal factors include one's current physical fitness levels, previous experience with physical activity, or health history. Behavioural factors include one's social media habits or lifestyle variables such as work, school, or extracurricular activities, as they limit the time an individual has to perform physical activity. The theory of planned behaviour can assist in predicting an individual's behavioural intentions. There is a lack of subjective norms encouraging physical activity, particularly in adolescence, and social stereotypes impact females from engaging in certain types of physical activity. Young teens are more likely to adopt sedentary lifestyles from friends, family, and social media. An individual's personal beliefs refers to whether the social, physical, and mental health benefits of physical activity outweigh the barriers, including how girls feel about themselves and their abilities. In regards to perceived behavioural control, there is a lack of knowledge surrounding the duration and varying levels of intensity regarding physical activity.
Previous attempts. The Girls Make You Move campaign targeted teenage girls and their parents to help influence females participate in sport through shifting perceptions of exercise. The program was shown across different media, which positively reinforced the perception women should get involved in sport. However, there was a decline in positive body image after the campaign. Recommendations developed after this campaign included to encourage girls to exercise with their friends. In 2019, the ACT government launched the Girls It's Your Move campaign, which took a holistic approach. Schools were given funding to hold a health and wellbeing day to improve female fitness levels. The workshop offered students a range of activities and professional help. It also allowed for teachers to learn new skills. However, this one-time program was only available to selected schools. This meant there was no long-term positive effects from the program. This Girl Can campaign, designed by the Victorian government, encouraged women to keep active however, wherever, and whenever. Developed after a survey found that women often don't try new activities or get involved in sport due to fear of judgment or lack of physical ability. The campaign saw a surge in online support under the trending hashtag. However, recent research has suggested women are still affected by the fear of judgment when playing sport.
Target market. Our target demographic is young Australian adolescent females aged 12 to 15 who are transitioning from primary school to high school. Many girls at this life stage are developing negative attitudes towards sport and physical activity and lose interest in taking part. Adolescent girls are already aware of the health and well-being benefits of exercise, meaning they demonstrate an already established entry into the contemplation phase. Advancing through the contemplation stage requires influencing the behaviour change by highlighting the social benefits, as well as providing the tools to prepare and engage in physical activity. Female adolescents in the pre-contemplation, contemplation, and relapse stages are highly susceptible to messages for behaviour change. By drawing attention to the social benefits of physical activity, individuals in these stages can gain a new understanding of how to be active without competing in sports they might not like. Focusing on the social aspects of physical activity to provide a supportive approach to exercise, allowing relapsed, pre-contemplation, and contemplation to make their way into preparation and action stages.
Program concepts and testing. Our first program we tested was a downstream marketing campaign through the introduction of a free app. Research suggests social media is the most effective method to reach adolescents due to the increasing presence of technology. Furthermore, the app seeks to change human behaviour by encouraging adolescents to simply find 60 minutes a day to exercise with a friend and provides them with a source of information and motivation. Upon pre-testing, we interviewed 2 parents of adolescents aged 12 to 15 years and 2 secondary PDHPE teachers. Our first concept was received well, with the interviewees acclaiming the strategy builds connectedness and brings young people together to exercise and allows teens to motivate and hold each other accountable. Our second campaign addresses the environmental barriers associated with financial costs and location issues. The program takes part in upstream efforts to create change, calling on decision makers to create supportive environments that encourage physical activity and includes the use of a community van that travels to local schools. The van would provide supervised locations for youth to engage in informal sports, providing them with appropriate equipment or resources and facilitating physical activities that are fun and engaging. Upon pre-testing the strategy, it came across to consumers as a fun and lighthearted way to encourage physical activity in a non-competitive environment that is both supportive and inclusive. Interviewees reported concerns regarding weather impacting on the program running, and whilst the concept was great, there was still no guarantee that adolescent females would engage, let alone on a daily basis. The third concept takes part in upstream efforts to create change through the influence of schools and teachers. The upstream program is designed to influence high schools to implement a free period each day for students to partake in leisure activities to encourage physical activity. There is high emphasis on the program including fun, social activities rather than traditional sports. Upon pre-testing, this strategy came across to consumers as a great initiative on top of typical sporting activities. The interviews were able to draw upon the idea that the program would encourage students to partake in physical activity in an all-inclusive manner, regardless of their skills and capabilities. Additionally, the interviewees thought this program would have benefit for all students, regardless of their age and gender, to take a break and get moving.
Based on our pre-testing, the program that stood out to our consumers was the CQ60 concept, with many stating that they felt the program catered to all individual needs and was an inclusive and supportive way of promoting physical activity. CQ60 is a movement to rebrand the perception of physical activity by challenging individuals and society's perspectives. It is a call to action to promote various types of physical activity and physically active communities amongst adolescent females in order to address barriers of enjoyment and time.
The campaign aims to not only reduce inconvenience, but also strengthen their self-efficacy regarding physical activity, as the campaign is convenient on a device they constantly use and provides them with accessibility. We have designed our goals for 200 users, those being teenage girls, to download the app, through which we want them to increase their physical activity time to an hour per day. We aim to measure the success of the program over a 12-month period. Behavioural objectives are based around promoting a platform that will give adolescents the option and influence to increase their physical activity time, while the knowledge objectives are developed by wanting our target audience to understand that we have identified factors that can help increase their physical activity by reducing barriers. Lastly, belief objectives have been developed through wanting our target audience to feel that physical activity is not a chore, rather a personal process of learning to enjoy exercising. We have positioned our program so our target audience views the initiative as a cost-effective, easily accessible app that is fun and enjoyable. Providing social benefits in pledging with a friend allows young adolescents to motivate each other, as the program forces them to hold one another accountable. The initiative provides adolescents with a support community that encourages them to become fit and active, where they are free from judgment and peer pressure.
The broad strategic direction for Seek Your 60 is to reconnect with lapsed, physically active adolescents who failed to overcome the barrier of perceived inconvenience and negative attitudes. This will then move them through to the pre-contemplation or contemplation, as well as target inactive adolescents who are currently in the pre-contemplation or contemplation stage. This will be addressed through adjusting the 4 elements of the marketing mix. Drawing on commercial product theory, the core product is to make the physical activity more convenient for adolescents in order to increase their physical activity levels. The actual product is the Seek Your 60 mobile application, and the augmented product is the ability to socialise with friends, feel included, and do something fun. The app eliminates the cost and time barriers and overcomes the social isolation barrier. Adolescents are more likely to carve out the time in their day for an activity presented in a fun, free, and social way.
Our program aims to firstly decrease the cost of the desired behaviour by making it easy and fast with no monetary cost. We acknowledge that getting teens to partake in physical activity is a big social and physical change. However, our Seek Your 60 app aims to minimise these non-monetary costs through the implementation of pledging with a friend. Having another person also allows individuals to support one another, helping alleviate the feeling of judgment. By focusing on the social opportunity of physical activity, we're able to remove barriers associated with time and competing interest. For Seek Your 60, mobile devices will act as the place where consumers will access our program, ensuring that both the social media campaign and digital application are accessible on all devices. As interest rises, the supply of accessible places and opportunities for teens to be active every day needs to increase in order for individuals to act on interest and intent to be more active. For Seek Your 60, a place where the behaviour is performed is dependent on the individual. It could be a backyard, bedroom, park, or local spaces that can provide facilities and environments to engage in physical activity. The aim is to make accessing the place where individuals engage in physical activity easier to reach.
The use of social media promotes the pledge of physical activity amongst heavily active users. Furthermore, we know adolescents feel isolated in pursuing exercise. Therefore, various digital media advertisements will promote the social benefits of the app. Seek Your 60 promotes the idea of social interaction by encouraging teens to pledge to complete 60 minutes of exercise per day with a friend and post their experiences on social media using the hashtags Seek Your 60 and Socially 60. The app further promotes a positive relationship with exercise, providing motivational videos of different ways teens can seek their 60, such as skateboarding and hiking, normalizing the fact that everyone's 60 minutes is individual to them. This in turn promotes a healthy lifestyle young teens can adapt and pursue into adulthood. So what are you waiting for? Take the pledge, connect a friend, and seek your 60 today.